Yeah, I want to go over something that probably I have a lot of experience with, and I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I stumbled upon the methods to get rid of soreness in the body from overexerting yourself by accident. Then I read later on, why it worked. And just to give you some background, like I'm almost 60, right? I don't feel like I'm 60 or nothing, but that's what I am. Anyway, I'm close anyway, but very close. But I done a lot of working out over the years. I guess I'm a serotonin and dopamine addict. You got to have that runner's high or bicycle high. I have like a motorcycle, and a lot of people with the Harleys used to say, how come you like the bicycle better? And it's because I like the, I guess it's because I like the serotonin high you get off of that, the runner's high. So I had a tendency to kind of like overdo it, Anyway, I don't want to brag here, but just give you an idea of the excesses. I used to run like an 8-mile thing like every single day, except on the weekends I do long distance, and it was 8 miles of hills, and I would do a bike ride in the evening, and I'd hit the gym besides and do sit-ups and pull-ups and junk like that, right? And I used to push myself harder and harder and harder, and then on the weekend I'd be like, holy shit, I am so sore I can't hardly walk. And I says, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk instead of run. So you're going to think this is bullshit, but it's not. It's an absolute fact. I was doing this for like decades, man. And actually, even in my 50s, I was doing, actually up to recently, not that long ago, I was doing 3 hours a day on a cardio machine. I'm doing about 100 minutes now, 100 minutes. Actually, I get too anorexic, man. I go too far. I go from one extreme to the other. So, if I gain weight, I don't mind it, because when I start worrying about weight, I go too far the other way. But anyway, the thing with soreness, I found out, I used to say, well, crap, I can't walk, man, my legs are freaking killing me, I can't run, I could barely walk, so I'd walk, and I'd start out, and in the beginning, I'd be feeling really sore, and, well, after a while, I feel okay. And I'm thinking, well, I just keep walking. So I'm walking like 20 miles, right? I used to walk I used to walk a 20-mile course on the Sunday or something like that, or one day during the weekend. And lo and behold, the next day, all the soreness is gone. I'm like, that's weird. And it just happened like that every freaking time. It was like I clobbered myself all week doing all this exercise. I get more and more sore every day, and I say, nah, I'm not going to do too much this day. I'm going to take it easy. And I go out and freaking trash myself. You get in these grudge races with people, you run with. And, on the weekend, I do the walk thing, and, sometimes I'd walk way over 20 miles. It's really crazy, but I would do that. I guess I was addicted to the serotonin high or something. And, all the soreness would go away by the next day. And I don't get that deal. Now, if you walked like 40-something miles, I did that. It felt like somebody hit you with a 2x4 over every single area of your body. Now, there's a reason for this. Now, I'm not saying go walk 20 miles, but I'm saying go walk, because actually the 20-mile walk relative to me was not hard. It was like the 40-something mile walk was getting to be a real bitch. That was when I started. What happens is it's called toxins and lactic acid builds up in your body. That's why the muscles get sore. But if you lightly exercise, the blood flow. See, most people will sit on their ass and they'll sit on the couch and say, "Oh, I can't do anything. I'm going to watch a movie," and they don't do anything, right? That's actually bad. You want to keep moving, but you want to keep moving enough where it just keeps the blood moving, and it purges everything a lot faster. In other words, you got the blood moving through where all the lactic acid is built up in the muscles, and it actually will alleviate the soreness much, much, much faster. I didn't know why that was. I found out about it by accident. I just didn't know why it was till some years later. This is actually before I got into all the health stuff. I was just not on running and cycling a lot, and exercise. That was the deal. And I'm still kind of into it somewhat, but not to the extreme extent I was. But I don't know, that can change too, because I remember I went back into it when I was in my 50s, and I got down to single-digit body fat for a while, and it was like, you know, going anorexic halfway, and I start backing off. But I also want to point out some other things about soreness too. You know, I didn't even know about this junk. This isn't bad, but I don't use it anymore. I use other junk. But this is like, you know, I don't know what the hell they call it, blue goo or icy hot. You know, and I used to have, you know, Bengay was, well, I don't want to knock any names out there, but, you know, it's like they had these popular names, Sports Cream, Bengay, and all that garbage. But I think they changed the formulas on them. I remember when this stuff, Mineral Ice or Icy Hot, first came out. It was a long time ago. Well, first I heard of it. I was like, I put that crap on, and I was like, holy shit, the soreness went away right away. I just couldn't believe it. It was like ridiculously good. But I found something better than that, and it's actually a combination of dimethyl sulfoxide. Now, you don't put DMSO on over something like this, because this will drive these chemicals into your bloodstream. But it was a combination of DMSO with Arnica montana, aloe vera, coconut oil, and some different types of herbs. And they don't make that anymore, but they do have one that is kind of similar. It's called Penetrix. I'm not advertising for it, but I'm saying it's about the only one I saw that's about as close to the original one I saw. Now, I still have a little bit of my stash left of this stuff, because I found out, you know, whenever I feel like the slightest problem in my knee or my hip, when it first starts, I put a little bit of that stuff on, and it seems to not develop into a problem. I guess it's when that swelling first starts, where you feel like there's a little bit of inflammation, and if you stop that inflammation right away, it seems like you won't get an injury. That's from my experience. Now, I'm not talking from what I read. I'm talking about from my experience, because I got a lot of experience with dealing with this garbage. You know, the thing is with DMSO, I don't actually use that stuff like the straight gel all the time. It's actually, I mix it with Arnica montana. But I have something that's not made anymore, but I think the closest equivalent to it today is called the product by Penetrix. You know, you get it on Amazon. I'm not advertising for them. You know, I mean, if you click on a button, it's like it don't go to my pocket. I'm just telling you that I found out that product is about the closest to the miracle product I've used in the past, that I thought it was even far superior to this icy hot mineral ice stuff. It was even better than that. Now, I found something else out. Well, first off, a lot of things where people, will they run, they get the wrong running shoes. They go down to, well, knock these guys like Walmart or something. They sell these freaking running shoes. They look nice, you know, and they'll screw you up, man. I don't even, well, I found Asics were good. I liked Asics, and Nikes weren't bad, and that was my personal preference. But the best ones I like were New Balance, but especially the top-of-the-line New Balance that's made in New Hampshire. They're top of the line. Those are the ones I like the best. My personal preference, and I found that the actual running shoes you use will make a major difference. Now, also on the bike itself, your position on the bike makes a major difference if you're going to get injuries. You know, the seat could be too high, the seat could be too low. There's a lot of error there, and that's probably a whole nother subject for something, because you can really screw up a lot and get a lot of injuries on a bicycle by being positioned wrong. But that's something else to look at. But I also want to point out, when you are going out for a distance run, and it's not like a race or something, it's just like a hard distance run, there are very slight adjustments you can do in your running stride and position that can make a major difference in your having injuries in your knees, in your ankles, and everything. You know, some people run too flat-footed. I know there's different styles. There's like the plodding style, and there's like the, you know, the floating style and all that shit. But I found I guess you almost have to have it from experience, and I'm not into the running anymore, man. I've been doing the elliptical shit for years now, you know. I ain't been into the running. I remember several years ago I tried running and I was sore as hell, even though I was doing the elliptical 3-4 hours a day for intense levels. That was back some years ago, and I thought I was in great shape, and I went and ran. I was sore as all hell because you're using different muscles. But I remember when I was a running addict, there was many times slight differences of adjustment, and it's almost like you don't want to be hunched over. You want to like lean directly from the back. Same thing with bicycling. You don't want to arch your back. You want to kind of like lean where your back is a little more straight. Arm position makes a lot of difference. Actually swinging your arms, if a lot of times people forget to do this when they run, that will actually screw you up. It'll actually screw up your stride. And it's like the minimal difference of the repetition will make a major difference in problems with your knees. I could say this, I hardly ever, I don't know what the hell I used to log. I used to log in, well I remember the most I ever logged in in a week, and this is what work boots and hills, was 130 miles in 1 week. I thought that was like a personal, a cumulative record for not even running shoes. That was 130 miles in a week. But typically it would be less than 100 miles. It would probably be about 80 something or something in a week. And plus I would do cycling. And I pretty much never got an injury. But one thing I'll also relate to you, that I did one time have a pretty bad, or I had knee pain, and I was like, shit, I get knee pain, man. And this is before I knew about supplements, because actually I found out that supplements like MSM and glucosamine and chondroitin and different things like that, I wasn't even taking any supplements, but I found that can actually help a lot. There's actually hyaluronic acid supplements you could take. I'm just mentioning them here. But actually what cured the knee pain was using the life cycle cycle trainer in a gym. And instead of using it at 80 RPMs, I used it around 95 to 100 RPMs. I kept the RPMs high. And I would do that every day for a couple hours. And I thought my knee was all screwed up. I thought it was going to never get better when I first started doing that. 6 months later, it was 100% fine. 100% fine. So sometimes this physical therapy stuff really works. The cycling works if you are positioned on a bicycle correctly and your cadence is correct. You want to have a faster cadence. One of the biggest problems with a lot of people with cycling is they do too slow of a cadence and they trash their knees, or they're too high up or they're too low. Actually, too low, the seat being where your legs aren't extended, isn't as bad as being overextended, because if you're overextended, your back will rock and your hips will rock like this, and it'll kill your back, man. Your back will get screwed up real fast. It will, for real. But a lot of times minor adjustments, either when running and cycling, make a major, major difference. But I found that you can pretty much work out every single day and recover faster if you take one of those days as a light workout where you're just keeping the blood flowing and keeping the lactic acid flushed out of your muscles. That crap works. I didn't understand why it was working. I found out about it by accident. I was like, I took a long walk one time and I says, I'm not even sore the next day. And I was like, that was weird. I didn't really make the association until some weeks later, when it just kept happening like that. Because what I would do was I was like so damn sore I couldn't even freaking run anymore. I was like, forget it, I'm just going to take a short walk, and I wound up walking longer than I thought, and it went away. The soreness went away. So I think that's a major mistake a lot of people do when they go to work out, is that they, if they get too sore, they sit on their ass and they say, I ain't doing nothing, man. Now, if you're injured, you're injured. It depends on how, if you're lightly injured, it's probably good to do a little bit of, don't exaggerate the injury, but even if you got an injury and it's not that bad, if you wrap it up and you just do some light movement, you got to listen to your body, man. And I'll tell you the truth, by listening to your body and basically doing some little fine-tune adjustments. You'll figure it out after a while. But I found out, like, when you just stay stationary, the soreness will just stay with you. Forget about it. It doesn't go away. And I found out also, you know, I used to use this stuff a lot. Or like when I found out about it, I don't know, get back in the 80s, whatever the hell it was, you know, it's just how long I've been doing this shit. And I used to use this a lot. And then I found out some better products. And actually, this one product, I don't know, these guys don't make it anymore. I call them jerks, they don't make it anymore. Probably because they're scared to make it. You know, maybe it's too good. I don't know. But I think one product that's pretty close to it is Penetrix. Like I said, I don't sell it or nothing, but it's like $20 for 2 ounces. It's not that cheap. But I found out when you use a product like that, when you start the beginning, when you start feeling a little bit of knee pain or ankle pain or hip pain or something or back pain, you put that stuff on there, it seems to, well, in my experience, it doesn't develop into something else, because I guess you stop that inflammation right away, and you got the blood flowing, and you know, everything's being purged out of you as you're working out. I just don't have any problems, you know. I don't have any problems. But I'm not working out like a maniac anymore, so, you know, that's another thing. So, but I found out that even if you injure yourself, you more likely can recover. And, you know, this is before I even knew about all the nutritional stuff and, you know, all this. You know, another thing I'm a big believer in is I take some MSM every day. I think that has a lot to do with, I don't know, I've been running and biking and doing the elliptical. The elliptical I like because I know it's like you're really not jarring anything. I'm really sold on that thing. But I was running, I don't know, I guess since I was like 14, man. So I hardly really ever had too many problems with my knees. I thought I had one problem like for 6 months almost, but it was alleviated with that special type of high cadence bicycle exercise machine, and being properly set up at the right seat height and everything, and it worked out fine. So just want to point out this tip, because that's the number one thing when people start and do working out and they get too sore, they stop completely. And you know, here's another thing too, I'll tell you this. A lot of times if you start working out, you might feel sore the next day. It's actually the day after that. Like if you do, or even if you're used to working out and you really went in a race or something, you might feel sore the next day, but it's a day after the next day is when it really hits you. I don't know why that is, but it's just something to be forewarned at. And that may be, you might want to reserve 2 days for recovery and doing light exercise. But light exercise will actually recover you from sports injuries faster than anything. And actually, if you start to feel tight or whatever thing, your muscles or anything like that, you want to make sure you're all loosened up and everything. Stuff like this is pretty good to even put on before, not after, even before, because it's, I don't know. It's just from experience. That's what I can tell you from my own experience. And like I said, now I use this other stuff. It's got DMSO, Arnica montana, and a host of other ingredients like aloe vera and some kind of bark, and I don't know what the hell's in it, but it's like I'm down to like the last of my stash on that. That's been the best junk going. And I think it was made by herbalremedies.com or something like that. That's where I used to get it from. Now it says discontinued. But the closest product I saw for ingredients is Penetrix, which is got some pretty damn high ratings, and I'll probably go with that after I run out of my stash. So, you know, if you really want to know what the best thing to apply, that probably is the best stuff going. That'll get rid of the soreness pretty quick too, besides doing a light exercise.